class, today we have an important topic to talk about, but first I want to ask you, on standardized state exams that you've seen, what do some of the prompts usually say? What do they ask you to include in your essay? One example could be good details. Justin?
A good thesis statement.
A good thesis statement, yes. They always ask for a strong thesis statement. Rebecca?
A strong argument.
A strong argument, yes, that's very important. That's going to control your essay. Annie?
Textual evidence.
That's what we're going to talk about today. Textual evidence always scares everybody because if you don't know how to incorporate it properly, it could be hard to add. But what I want to ask you is, when you've seen textual evidence before, what are some things that you've noticed when some people write essays? Yes, Rebecca?
They introduce the author.
Yes, introducing the author. Justin?
Quotation marks.
Quotation marks, yes. Anything else? We introduce the author, but something else that we usually need.
The book that it's from.
The book that is from. The book, the play. And remember, we talked about this before. We cite things differently in regards to its genre. Anything else that we might need? We'll cover it. Yeah, Rebecca?
Punctuation correctly.
Yes, we need to punctuate correctly. So this includes putting the period in the right place, putting a comma after we introduce the author or the text, and so on. I have prepared a sample introductory paragraph relating to today's topic. We're going to talk about whether Shakespeare should be still read in the classrooms. So I wrote, whether Shakespeare's work should be taught in high schools remain a hotly debated topic worldwide. This topic affects students, teachers, and parents all differently, and therefore they tend to have a wide array of opinions on the matter. An English teacher working in Texas, Frank Poole, in his article, "Should Kids Still Read Shakespeare?" comes to the conclusion that it's necessary that Shakespeare be read by high school students. While he does acknowledge the difficulty of this text, especially the vocabulary, he states, "Struggle is not a bad thing, and working to gain a good vocabulary is well worth the effort." Now I'm going to stop there. Did you see how I introduced the text, I introduced the author, and then I incorporated his quotation from his article, and I did this statement. Now I follow this up and I say, although students may have to struggle to understand what it is Shakespeare is actually saying, they will benefit from it in the long run. So what I have for you is Frank Poole from Texas's article in front of you. And I'd like you to read the first 3 paragraphs. Anyone want to volunteer? Annie.
Over the decades, I have taught Shakespeare to thousands of students. This year, I am, for the first time, teaching Romeo and Juliet to very young and bright freshmen.
Rebecca, could you follow?
The language itself poses major problems. Shakespeare uses about 40,000 words in his plays. About twice as many are in educated person's vocabulary. He delighted in coinages and putting old words to new uses, and he is responsible for many words that have remained in our language.
And Justin?
William Shakespeare created a vast range of characters. Good writers often give birth to some people we can understand better than we can ourselves. Great writers, like Shakespeare, create characters who understand themselves fitfully, and we see them in the process of their apprehension and their failures.
Thank you very much. Now, if I were to ask you to write whether you think Shakespeare should be read in high schools, what would you say? Do you think so?
I think so.
You think so. Justin?
I'd agree.
What could you use from this text?
In the 3rd paragraph, he states, William Shakespeare created a vast range of characters. Good writers often give birth to some people we can understand better than we can ourselves.
Great, I want you to highlight that.
First you read, then you stop to think. Do you agree? Disagree? Make your point clear by following me. Scan it, underline it, highlight what stands out, organize what you want to say, and scope it all out. Find a space to slide it in, make transitions smooth. Let your readers know you have a point to prove. Find a space to slide it in, make transitions smooth. Let your readers know you have a point to prove. Introduce your author and the title of your text. Don't forget to punctuate, put your skills to the test. Once you get the hang of it, add as much as you can. Too much? Not possible. Support your argument again and again.